Hey, I'm Rek'Sai. Like some Viktor content, some mid lane content? Consider subscribing, maybe even hitting that like button. It'll help me up a lot, and if you do, you'll get blue buff. Viktor Challenger. The only rule, I can only play Viktor, unless it's banned, then we're playing Orianna. No Viktor jungle, no Viktor support, maybe Viktor bot lane, and that's about it. Hello friends, welcome back to another Viktor Challenger game. This game, I'll be playing against a Katarina mid with a Rek'Sai jungle on the enemy team. It's not the easiest matchup because as Viktor, it's really easy to get caught by both of these champions. So the game plan here for now is just to again slowly stack the wave up if I can, because I don't want it to crash too fast. If I crash it too fast, then it'll bounce back to me too fast and Katarina will have roam timing. The second game plan here is obviously to avoid Rek'Sai as much as I can. Now, I know that he started bot side, so I'm trying to do my best to hug top side as much as I can and avoid dying to him. I'm going with the Snowball Runes with First Strike and Futures Market, and with Gathering Storm as my backup plan. You'll notice that I'm not really harassing the Katarina so much, and in fact I'm getting my health bar depleted more by her. I will admit I'm playing this lane slightly terribly, or very terribly depending how you see it, but the main objective right here is just to stack up a big wave and not lose too much health. I will pot up when I'm below 80% because that's where I'm in lethal range, so ideally I want to stay as healthy as I can so I can stay in lane without the fear of dying. The second reason why I'm not really focused on harassing her too much is because it's really hard for Viktor to kill Katarina. There's chances where I can harass, but realistically if she plays it smart and just farms up, there's not really a lot for me to do to quote-unquote pressure her off lane. Obviously I'll land the obvious Qs, the obvious Es, but aside from that, the wave is the #1 priority when playing this matchup. So early in the game, something's already happened. Rek'Sai did a tree camp gank into bot lane. Wukong stole his top side jungle camps. A lot of things are actually going pretty well for us up until this point, where I think Wukong's scuttle got stolen by Rek'Sai's smite. And I believe that Rek'Sai actually went home and bot serrated Dirk. That's why I didn't really want to fight this 2v1, even though I have the advantage in mid. I also think that it's really rough for Viktor and Wukong to really hold a Rek'Sai down. And again, these are the times where like, oh wow, Kurai, you probably could have helped your Wukong there. I think if I really wanted to help, or if I really went to help, nothing would have happened and I would just be wasting my time. It would really just be playing for his mental and nothing else. And I'd much rather just have a couple more minions in lane. Right here, obviously Wukong is pinging to help his jungle camps. I think Rek'Sai, if he just took red and left, everything would have been fine for him, but he decided to stay. And obviously because he has no flash and he's kind of cut in the corner, he dies here. Camille returns the kill towards Katarina. It's all fine and all. I think right here, Wukong is throwing a tantrum. Honestly, looking at it from the replay, I think it's not too bad had he not stolen all my gold from the minions. I think if he just wanted EXP, it's fine. But I think realistically, he should have just went to invade Raptors. Right here, it's the next clip where Katarina pushed in the lane, and Katarina, I believe Katarina and Rek'Sai are trying to invade my blue side. I didn't hesitate to ult here because I wanted the wave to push in so I could sort of defend my blue side jungle or my bot side jungle. Really, I'm just defending Wukong's mental here because I figured that Rek'Sai, if he knows how to play this match, he would probably try to invade because he knows Wukong is weak. So in this case, I tried to help defend. Obviously, Rek'Sai had the flash, and the defend was successful. Nothing else happened here. Rek'Sai did try to hover around mid lane to see if I'm getting a greedy back to mid lane, but they're on the ward, so nothing happened there. Right here is a crucial part where, if you guys focus, Katarina is ganking bot side. I immediately canceled my base because I figured, if he's bot side and I have a cannon wave pushing, I can definitely take a couple of leadings here. The thing that some of you might worry is that, well, what about Rek'Sai? Where is he? And lo and behold, he is appearing bot side again. I think even if Rek'Sai appears mid lane, I don't think he can one-shot me with just those items since I'm level 9 and he's just level 7. He could probably chunk me, and worst case scenario I would have to burn flash, but realistically I don't think I would die. So the main point of this play is really, you guys have to understand, like, even if sometimes if the enemy roams, you have to keep a calm mind and think what you can do with your lane, because there's no point in trying to follow up a roam where you might get caught out in the river and die, because that's 10 times worse than just staying in lane and getting plates. This alone, staying in lane and with plates, like plates alone just got me about 480 gold, and that's not including the minions that I solo ate, which gives me solo XP and solo gold. This next play here, I've looked at the replay and I think this is kind of my bad, because there's no wards and I shouldn't really be going out that aggressively. This is the time where Rek'Sai is able to afford a Prowler's Claw, and again, like, looking at the replay, I definitely could have played this much better. I should have flashed the Prowler's Claw. Katarina actually lives, so it's 2 HP there. Kind of unfortunate, but the more unfortunate part is definitely where Rek'Sai just harrowed mid lane and took my turret. Right here, it's kind of bad that I willingly went up to Katarina to try to fight her. My thought process was like, well, I'm a level higher, I have a better I have one addition component to her. Let me see if I can face tank her. Note to self and to anyone playing this matchup, never try to face tank an assassin willingly. You have to make them work for it. They would have to flash on top of you, and then you have to gravity fuel yourself, or you should prematurely gravity fuel yourself. Right here, you don't win this because some of our cooldowns are not up yet, and Camille dies. I think Ashe is already dead before this fight, so I didn't really want to bother with this fight. I have a pretty steady gold income here. I have a pretty good scaling time right now. I'm scaling pretty well right now, that's what I'm trying to say here. So I don't really want to give away a kill for free. I believe right now they're going for Baron. Camille tries to surrender, but really, like, I know that if the enemy tries to Baron, I don't think the enemy could have Baron from the start anyways, because they don't really have a comp that allows them to do Baron fast. They don't have a tank. They don't have a quick percent health DPS. So off the Janna Nado, I immediately tried to kill some of their backline. And keep note that, like, I'm actually still pretty strong. Even though, like, I died a couple of times, I have pretty good CS, pretty good levels. So it's really hard for the enemy to, like, do Baron without having some casualties right here. So after we skirt them off Baron here, again, we just return to farming. Again, the goal with Viktor right now is just to scale as much as we can. Nothing else. So you see me, like, trying to skip to a lot of parts where I'm just side leaning, trying to farm as much as I can. Here, this is the part where having TP is much more useful than having an Ignite. And also having the fact that I have Lich Bane allows me to push faster. 100% more faster, really. Because I'm dealing twice as much to turrets. So this is the point where the enemy is kind of panicking, because I don't think anyone in their team can match me. I'm level 15, Katarina's 13. I think Rek'Sai is also 13, if not 14. It's at this point where I'm like, okay, 24 minutes, 3 items. They're kind of getting desperate here. I took a while to decide if I wanted to TP. I know that if I TP into a 5v5, I have to be slightly careful where I don't TP in a spot where they can instantly one-shot me, even though I have flash. Here we burn Rek'Sai's ult, and at this point, I was like, okay, guys, just let me do blue and I'll join with you, right? Just let me do blue. Obviously, that's not the case. You know, teams are always trying to fight here. So instead of doing blue and having selfish reasons for myself, I decided to, okay, you know what? Let's group a bit to see what happens. Janna, I believe she's trying to clear a ward in Baron Pit, but Katarina tries to catch her off. I don't think it's wise to engage on a Janna. Janna is literally the queen of disengages. Here, that's a really good angle for me, for my laser, for my ult. We get a really clean sweep onto their Rek'Sai and Bel'Veth. Katarina is the last one standing. Not much you can do here against 3-item Viktor. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm really strong. I think after this Baron, I get like 16, and if not, after Baron with like 2.5 waves, I get 16. Katarina is 13. if I'm 3 levels ahead as Viktor, or if anyone's playing in this game, if you're 3 levels ahead as Viktor and the enemy is 3 levels behind, the game is pretty much secured. So not much really happened aside from some pushing lanes. Here we catch out Rek'Sai and Bel'Veth. It's fair to say that, like, okay, well, this game could have been harder if their Bel'Veth top did anything more useful. But I think the main point that anyone who's watching this video should take away is definitely, if you're up against high threat mid and jungle combo, don't panic and just try to play defensive when you need to and offensive when you should. There are definitely times where I could have been slightly more aggressive, and there are times where I should have been slightly more defensive. But again, the main game plan here is just to scale, and it's fine if they get like some amount of lead in the early game, because that's just their champion. And as Viktor, you want to make sure you don't die too much early game and try to get early little leads from platings, from minions, from EXP, just the tiny stuff that stacks up and eventually gets you to a really strong 3-item point later in the game. And at that point, it's really all about understanding your positioning and not rushing into fights, because the slower the game goes for Viktor, the better. So that's it for this game. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.